So my secret to having fun and being happy while crafting is to focus on two things. One is whatever you enjoy doing with crafting, whether it's coloring, stenciling, die cutting, doesn't matter, interactive cards, whatever your thing is, focus on that, especially when you feel like your mojo has gone missing. The other thing that I recommend doing is remembering that you're giving this card to someone to make them smile. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to, have all the right things, because they're going to love it no matter what. So if you focus on the fact that you're going to give it to someone to enjoy, it really makes the whole process even better. Hello, I'm Jennifer McGuire. My name is Jennifer McGuire. My best advice for beginner card makers or crafters is to have patience. Learning all there is that you can do with craft supplies takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of practice. So patience is the key. You got to give them a little love. I always say a new stamp is kind of like, when you ask your kid to do a chore. If you give them a little kindness first, they'll do the chore better. It's like that with the stamp. If you give them a little love first, they'll be happier. They'll stamp better. So I usually rub my finger against it, or you could use the stamp prep tool that Altenew has, but mine's good to go. One thing in crafting that I think everyone needs to try, including beginner and advanced crafters, is layering stencils. Layering stencils give us the opportunity to create something beautiful with very little effort, and it's almost foolproof. I also like stencils that allow us to color in images easily, because for me, coloring can take a lot of time and be a little stressful. So by using stencils, it is so much easier. My biggest inspiration for card making is definitely the products. For example, if I get a new bunch of products from Altenew with beautiful images, I like to look through them, spend time kind of digging through them, and that really is what provides me the inspiration. Knowing that some of my favorite artists design them is inspiring. Maybe looking at some of the samples they have on their website will kind of kickstart an idea in my head. But I mostly am inspired by the products. And let me give you a little tip. If you have a stamp wheel, I don't know how many of you out there have yours for class, but when I put my plate down onto my stamp wheel, I like to put the bottom in first. I hook that right there, and then I kind of roll and press the top in. That's just what works for me. Everybody's different, but there are three things that are most important when I'm creating a card. First, I like to think about who the card's going to. I think about maybe what colors they like. That's really the biggest thing. Or if there's a theme. For example, my dad loves florals. He loves having plants outside of his office at home. And so I know a floral card is good for him in his favorite colors, which are blue. Then second, I like to think about what I enjoy to do. Because card making is not only about giving the card, but also enjoying the process of creating it. So I think about what techniques I like to do or something I want to try. What will be enjoyable to me as I make that card? And my third thing that I try to keep in mind during the whole card making process is that it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be stress-free. It's supposed to be relaxing. No guilt in how much time I spend on a card. Just make it something that is super enjoyable. If I could go back and talk to like the younger crafter me, I would recommend playing more, sitting down and experimenting with techniques, trying new things, but also not feeling pressured. Sometimes when I'm not feeling very, very creative, the best thing to do is revisit something I've done in the past or remake a card I've made in the past. That helps me to get my creativity going. When I first started crafting, I felt like I was pressuring myself too much to always do something new, and you don't have to. You don't have to make a completed card. You don't always have to try something new. As a card maker, the best thing about being a card maker is the joy of creating. We're making these things with our hands, and we get to buy all these fun products and kind of escape our troubles by creating. But we also have to remember to send those cards. And I think a lot of people like to keep them. You spend a few hours making a card and you get these stacks of cards. You got to send those too. So I think by doing more card drives and coming together saying, hey, I know this child who could use a little pick-me-up, send some cards. By reaching out to each other to do that, we can make this hobby even better. And then, hey, we can go back and make more cards, right? So it's really a win-win for everybody if we come together and do more of sending this kindness out into the world. If I could only bring 3 crafting products to a retreat, what would I bring? Well, I'm assuming there's already stamps and inks there. I'm hoping. I would bring my large Altenew blending brushes, the big round ones. Those are great for adding color to even basic white cardstock, for doing techniques. So I'd have to bring at least one of those. Second, I would bring my readers, my glasses, because you know, when you get old, you need them to craft. And third, coffee. One of my definite go-to techniques when I'm creating holiday projects is anything with shine. Adding sparkle any way I can, whether it be embellishments, glitter paper, shiny cardstock, it doesn't matter. Anything shiny, I feel like really gives it that extra holiday feel. Card making is supposed to be our escape, something that we can do to relax and unwind from the busy day to day. If you're feeling a little stressed about making a card, what I encourage you to do is look back at a card that you've made in the past that you were happy with. If you like that design or technique, revisit it. That's a great way to get your creativity flowing and get you to kind of calm down and enjoy the crafting process. I mentioned that zero waste leaf die. I also...
Oh my gosh, that's a gorgeous basket full of beautiful color.
So this is the zero waste flower die. And it has little leaves in it too. You could create a wreath with the little leaves in here. And look at this. I have issues, people. Look at all.
You have passion.
I have passion.
Yes.
My go-to crafting hack is to have some die-cut sentiments and stamp sentiments ready to go. I have a little binder and drawer full of these. That way when I'm creating and I come to that part of adding the sentiment, I can do so very quickly. And it allows me to focus on the colors and the techniques on the card and then just add the sentiment. And so I can go back and inlay these into the background. I just think it's so much fun. But I just use these as little accents on cards all the time. These bags are Altenew storage bags. The greatest for storing your little die cuts. Oh my goodness. Because they got the zipper on the top and they're nice and thick. So yeah, these are Altenew. They come in a medium and large. I did buy an extra zero waste background die so I could die cut 2 at once because I was cutting so many. Also, I create those sentiments, those die cut and stamp sentiments whenever I am not feeling very creative. So it's a way for me to play and kind of get crafty without too much pressure. So for me, my number one hack would be to have some of those pieces ready to go. One go-to technique for me that I seem to always do in my projects is add dimension. You can do this by stacking die cuts together so they stand up a little bit higher, or just add little gems or pearls. But I feel like dimension is one of the easiest ways to make your card look more handmade and less store-bought. So when I make holiday cards, I make a bunch of them and I send out quite a few, but I love to get my family involved in it. My daughter will help me put the cards together, my son will help me write the messages, and my husband addresses the envelopes. I feel like it's a great way to pull us all together during the holiday season. Now the next part, I'll tell you, is the part that is like the key to this card, creating this pop-up feature. And what I want you to do is remember the dimensions and what we're doing. You have it in the instructions so you can write it down. What I would recommend doing is, if you have like a cabinet, write on a Post-it note, bottom pop-up feature, and put the dimensions of this cardstock and the scoring numbers that we're going to do this, the key to it. And the next time you want to create a pop-up card, you can go look at those dimensions and add whatever you want on the front of this. You could make like one of the large Altenew floral images pop up. It's just about popping up when it comes out of the envelope and looking good on display. So you can remember these dimensions. It's a universal card design that you can, keep going back to with other products. Everyone's card making style evolves over time. It's just part of the process. When you first start, you're learning, you're experimenting. You might feel a little uncomfortable with some different things, But as you are experimenting and learning, you figure out what you enjoy doing and you kind of zone in on that. For me, I love creating backgrounds. So that is something that I do a lot more now than I used to. I used to color images because I was trying to learn how to color better. But then I realized coloring wasn't for me. Background techniques and inking was for me. And so I've kind of evolved and fine-tuned into that. And I think that's fine to do as a crafter. Find what you enjoy doing.
We really hope you enjoyed the video, but if you want more card making advice that will help you create new and unique card ideas, check this video. However, if you want more structured inspiration, please check out our free 101 classes. Link is in the comment section below.